Good afternoon.
Hello.
Would you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
Christian Sykes, ChristianSykes.
And Mr. Sykes, do you know Issiah Ross?
Yes.
How do you know him?
We were cool once upon a time.
Cool, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you first meet him?
He was with a group of people that I knew.
And so for about how long had you known him?
Like maybe 6 months or so, something like that. Not
Okay.
like a long time.
And would you guys hang out?
Time to time, yeah.
And what did you do when you were together?
Hang out, chill, talk, normal stuff.
Where did that normally happen?
My grandma's house, or maybe his house in my car, like type situation.
Okay. And I want to draw your attention to, well, first let me ask you, do you see Mr. Ross in the courtroom today?
Yeah.
And can you point out where he is sitting and describe an article of clothing he is wearing?
With the white shirt.
I would ask that the record reflect that the witness pointed toward Mr. Ross and identified him by an article of clothing.
Record will so reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Sykes, I want to draw your attention back to September of 2022. Did you have an opportunity to speak with law enforcement regarding Mr. Ross?
Yeah, they called me like 10 times.
Okay. And so did you speak to somebody on the phone?
Yes.
And do you recall if that was Captain Jeff Ray?
It could have been. I don't remember his name. I know it was somebody that works for Hillsborough.
Okay. What, if any, information did you provide at that time on the phone?
None.
You did not provide any information?
I think I just said his name. That was it.
Would reviewing Mr. Ray's supplement or Captain Ray's supplement help refresh your recollection as to what information that you provided him?
I know for sure I said his name, and I kind of gave a brief description of what I was told, but I didn't really go into detail.
Okay. What description of what you were told? What does that mean?
What he told me.
What Issiah told you?
Yeah.
And what did he tell you?
That you want me to tell the whole story?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, he told me that he was going to hang out, or that he hung out with somebody, and they were going to. Do you want me to say it all? Like, okay.
It's been said before, probably.
All right. Well, he said that they were going to run a train that they went to run a train on a white girl. When they got there, they were hanging out and stuff, and somehow or another, the other boy had a gun, and he was like playing with the beam and pointing it on him, and he told him to stop, and he did it again, and he told him to stop, and he said the third time he went for the gun. They wrestled for the gun, and I don't remember exactly if he said the gun went off, but I do know he said that he shot them and dumped the bodies. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
That I remember.
Did he give you any indication of where they were when
in the
this
car.
happened? In the car.
He did say Eflin. I do remember that, but just in the car. I really wasn't trying to ask too many questions because honestly and truthfully, I didn't believe it. It just sounded crazy.
When did you have this conversation with him?
At first, when we had it, I thought it happened the night that it happened, but I think it was 2 nights after it happened because I remember seeing it like on Facebook, and then I seen the mom's like live video, and then that's when I was like, well, this is kind of like matching up a little bit. So yeah.
Okay. So just so we can make sure our pronouns are clear. So Issiah said the other guy had the gun
Mm-hmm.
and that he was beaming him with it. What does that mean?
You know, a gun has a beam on it, like a light.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
And that, then you said did they argue about it? Did he give any indication?
I don't know.
Okay. And at what point did he shoot the guy or the girl?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
And you also provided some information that you knew about Issiah. Did you give them a description of what he looked like?
I think it's a light skin, curly hair. That was like pretty much the description what I gave him.
Okay. What color was his hair at that time?
I don't know. I don't know.
And did you know where he lived?
I knew in Mebane. Yeah, Mebane.
Okay. And did you provide them with a phone number for Issiah?
Maybe.
And so after speaking with Captain Ray, did you also meet with an investigator and speak with her?
Yes.
And where did you do that?
Walmart in Mebane.
And can you describe what you told her when you met with her?
Exactly what I told you just now.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, if I could just have one moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Sykes, once you saw that the two individuals were missing, did you communicate with Issiah again about that?
No, I don't think I did. I know I told four of my friends the night that I saw it, and then, yeah.
And do you know if your interview with Investigator Hunter was recorded?
I do now, but initially I was supposed to be anonymous, but I didn't know that she secretly recorded me. So I know that y'all do have a recording of that.
Your Honor, this time I would mark that recording as State's Exhibit 142, and I would ask to play it at this time.
Any objections to admitting States 142 into evidence?
No objection, Judge.
All right. State's Exhibit number 142 will be admitted without objection. Sworn, you may publish it to the jury.
Thank you, Your Honor. Madam Clerk, I have ready when you are. It would help if I plugged it in.
Might help.
There we go.
Go back and redo it. There we go. All right.
Communications. 123. 1041. 314. Occupancy copy. Communication. 103. I checked spoke with the caller. Recounting. 103, Recounting, 1730.
Hey,
I think I'm right beside you.
you are.
Okay, I'm coming.
Okay.
129? 241, area 9. I'll be riding with 127. Can you show me primary, please?
Hey. You alright?
No,
You want some water?
no, I just need you shaking.
Relax. Okay.
Yeah.
And are you okay sitting here?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Alright. It's gonna be okay.
It's just too much. I don't do this type of stuff.
I know.
I don't do
I
this.
know. First of all, thank you for coming.
Yeah, of
It's gonna be a
course.
very big help.
Of course. The whole messed up situation all over.
I got two different channels
No, you're
going.
fine.
Okay, so I guess we can just start from the beginning. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit and.
Okay, so everything that I know basically is, so I met the boy Issiah. I don't know his last name, but I have his Snapchat name, and that's usually how we converse. I gave the other officer his phone number because I do have his phone number.
Okay, and we'll get that too because I'm going to go over everything if I write anything down.
Okay.
Okay. So, how did you meet him through Snapchat? Or?
No, I met him because my grandmother lives on Freshwater, and my cousin lives directly behind her. Like, it's all one street. They were friends, and I'm just going to be 100%
Sure.
transparent. They were friends, and they were outside smoking. That's how I met him.
Okay.
Ended up smoking with him, and then we exchanged Snapchats, and then that's how it happened. So that was like last year, I want to say. And so Saturday, pretty sure it was Saturday. I don't want to get the days mixed up.
Okay.
But Saturday, I smoked with him, and then he was like, stuff went crazy last night, but he didn't elaborate.
Where were you guys at when this happened?
Deerfield.
Okay. At his mama's house?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, but it was like real quick, because then I had to hurry up and get back home.
What time was this?
I get off at like 4:15.
And so it was in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Was anybody else there?
No. He came out to my car. I don't know exactly. I think I know which building, but I don't know which apartment.
Okay.
Well, he came out to my car, and then we smoked, obviously, and then I had to leave because I had to go see my grandma.
Okay.
She lives on Freshwater, which is down 119. So I went to see her, and then I went home, and then he called me on it's FaceTime, but on Snapchat, like video call. And then he started saying, like, stuff was crazy, and he was going to New York, and I was like, what happened? I was sitting in my car, I just got back home, and he was like, what happened? I was like, what happened? And then he showed me, like, a gun, and I was like,
Okay, go ahead.
and he showed me, like, a gun, and I was like, you got a gun? Okay, like, what does that mean? And then he was like, well, I picked up this dude. He didn't give me no names. He just said he picked up a dude, and when he picked him up, he was going to pick up a girl, and then he was taking them to go, I guess, have sex.
All three of them together?
I don't know if all three of them together, or if he was just taking the boy and the girl to go
Okay.
have sex, or whatever the case, or if all three of them were going to do it. That part, I really didn't ask questions on.
Okay, yeah.
So then I was like, okay, but mind you, I haven't been on Facebook for a while, and they've been all over Facebook, but I don't get on Facebook unless somebody send me a funny video. So nothing is clicking in my head at this point. So then I said, so then I was like, okay, and then he was like, but I capped him, and I was like, what you mean? And he was like, well, the dude was holding the beam on me, and I'm assuming he meant like the gun had like a laser type of thing on it, but he was like, he was pointing it at him. He was like, I don't like that, and I told him to stop, and I told him multiple times to stop, but he kept doing it, and he said the gun had bullets in it. And so he was like, I told him to stop. So then he said he grabbed the gun, and they was wrestling with the gun, and then I'm assuming Devin was like had his finger, and then he pulled the trigger, and he said that the bullet went like near his legs, like that way. He said in between his legs, but that's what he said. And then he said that he like got the gun from him, and then he said he shot him. And then he said that the white girl, well, he didn't say white girl, but he said the girl that was in the back seat, he said she saw everything, so I turned around and I shot her. Now, this is Sunday when he told me this. This is the next day, actually, because I was with my friend Maya.
So did Maya hear this too?
Maya didn't hear, but she did see the messages where he, like, agreed to doing it. I know she's not going to want to be involved at all, but she saw the message because, okay, so he told him the story. This is Sunday, and then he's like, boom. So then Maya, whenever I get off the phone, I go out and I'll leave from the bathroom, and I go back in there, and Maya's tell me, the two people, the girl that was missing, they just found her body. And I was like, what girl that's missing? And then she started showing me a picture of her or whatever, and then I was like, wow. And then she said that they found the body of the boy, like it was like 15 minutes after that she told me that. And then that's when I was like, what? Because I thought the story that he was telling me, honestly, I just thought he was just telling me some story because he got a gun, because he lies a lot, in my honest opinion, So then she said that this was yesterday. And then so I texted him on Snapchat, and I was like, that story that you told me, was that real? Because they just found two bodies in Eflin. And he was like, because whenever he was telling me the story, he was like, do you know what Eflin is? And I was like, Eflin? And he was like, yeah. And then that's when he told the story. And then when I texted him, he was like, yeah, Lyric and Devin rest up with like the emoji over the hand. And I texted him and I was like, what the fuck? I said, what's going on? Where are you? And then he said that he was on the way. His cousin was taking him to Raleigh to get on a bus to go back to New York.
Okay. So I have a couple questions,
Okay.
and don't take any insult to
No,
it.
you're fine.
I'm not here to judge anybody.
You're fine.
So did you and Issiah have like a certain type of relationship other than friendship? And I ask that because normally when someone shares that type of
Yes.
information,
Yes. Some stuff occurred.
okay. So were you guys involved other than friendship? Were you in a sexual relationship with him as well?
It didn't really.
Because did you guys see each other that way sometimes?
Yeah.
And
it happened it happened twice, but most of the time we just smoked.
Yeah. And the only reason I asked that because it seemed like he was very personable with you and he trusted
I don't
you.
know
So for
why
him to
he
tell
told
you
me
that kind of
though.
stuff.
I don't know why he called me and told me, like, he know I don't do that type of stuff. I'm going to school to be a nurse.
You're kind of close.
Yeah,
so
like he calls me and tells me whenever his mom and him get to arguing, like, she's like this weekend she was kicking him out because she said he wrecked her car or something like that.
Did he mention to you, like, had he wrecked the car?
He said somebody must have backed into it. He said Friday he sat in the car, but he didn't go nowhere in that car. And then that's when he told me that. And then I was like, okay. And then Sunday when we talked again, well, after Saturday, of course, we smoked. And then Sunday when we talked again, that's when all the stuff he told me. And I was like, what? And I was telling my friend Maya, like, I was talking to her, I was like, I don't know what to do. Because if he just did this, right? And his family is helping him get to New York all of a sudden, in my eyes, to me, that makes me think that his family knows what just happened and they don't care. So if I say anything or do anything, if they don't care about that, well, honestly, because whenever you go to the police, they list your name, your address, your age, all of that type of stuff. I've read papers where people have told what stuff that they know, and their name is all in the article. So my name is in the article. He knows where my grandmother lives. He knows where my cousins and all of them live.
What did this gun look like?
It was like a black, I would say maybe a 9. It looked, I don't really know much about guns, but it was like a handgun.
Okay, what color was it? Black. Okay.
I remember it was black. And then the thing is he was like, I was gonna throw it, but I'm leaving for New York, so I might as well keep it. So I from what I know, he has the gun with him.
Okay. Did he show you when he was talking about the boy having the laser? Did he show you while you guys were talking that it had a laser?
He just held it up like I just saw like the part where the bullets go in. And he took the bullets out and he took the clip out, and there was no bullets in it.
Okay, so showing that he emptied the clip.
Basically.
Okay.
Like, and it was crazy because it was like no remorse, which was why because I've never like looked at him as like a person that's like, in my eyes, that's like evil. If you could murder 2 people like that and then show no emotion, that's why I was thinking the story was just something that he came up with, because you're not showing no emotion, you're laughing on the video call, like.
Do you have like the thing where you put the emojis with the can I take a picture of that?
The Snapchat, it deletes everything immediately.
I didn't
so
know
the only
if, like,
thing that
sometimes
I have
if you guys
is
keep
the last message from June 20th.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only thing that I have. Last time we talked was 22 hours ago. That's when he told me. So it was actually about this time when I found out.
Did you know Devin?
No, and the thing is like, my little brother just posted on his Snapchat that they was friends, and he just saw him Thursday. And then I saw the video.
When you say little brother, is it really your little brother?
Yeah, like my little brother. Okay. Like he just graduated from Eastern, and he just had posted that he was with him Thursday, and I don't know, that kind of hit home for me because I was like, my little brother could have been in that car. And then I saw Devin's mom's video live on Facebook, and it like broke my heart. But at the same time, I gotta be protective of me in a way, because I don't know what him or his family is capable of. All it takes is a phone call. They know where my grandmother lives, and my grandmother don't have nobody there but my uncle, and he works, so, and he knows like all you gotta do is pop the door open to get it open. So I don't know.
Tell me a little bit more about Issiah.
I know his name is Issiah. I don't really know his last name. I gave the officer his Snapchat.
Yeah.
I know he goes to Eastern, well, I guess went to Eastern. He told me he's 18. I know his mom says at Deerfield. He's a skinny boy. He's light skinned. Right now his hair is blonde, but it's normally like black or brown. I was trying to see if I had any pictures in my Snapchat or anything, and I don't have nothing because he don't ever post pictures. I don't know if he has Instagram or Facebook. If I seen him, I would know who he was, but he's like real skinny. I know he used to work at Lowe's Food, or still does work at Lowe's Food in Mebane, because I used to give him rides from Lowe's Food home sometimes when his mom was at work. And I mean, everything that I've known of him, he's been like a chill, nice, level-headed, funny dude.
And how did you meet him again? You were like
through my cousin.
Your cousin.
My cousin and him was outside. Yeah, my cousin and him was outside, just like playing around and chilling outside. And then I went outside. My cousin was like, "Hey, CJ." I went down there, talked to him, and I chilled with them for a little bit. And then that's how I met him. And my cousin,
who's your cousin?
His name is Thomas Blackwell, but
okay.
Yeah, he's 21.
So you go by CJ.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Too. That's what my family calls him, like close family.
Okay.
They call me CJ. But everybody else, like work and school and everything, they know me by Christian.
Okay. And do you hang out with anybody else around this area other than him?
Everybody else I hang out with is like my friends, Maya, Michaela, and Taylor, and all of them like are in Burleson. So I'm never down here unless I'm like seeing my little brothers or I'm visiting my grandma. I might hang out with my cousins while I'm down there because they live down there. And then sometimes I'll pick him up from work, we'll smoke, and then that's about it.
Okay. So you didn't know Devin or this white girl?
I just saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
And then he was like, whenever I asked him, he was like, yeah, and then rest up. And it was just like no remorse. And I don't know.
Do you remember what he was wearing the afternoon that you guys, and you said that was on Saturday that you guys smoked?
Yeah, it was Saturday afternoon.
Okay. What was he wearing?
It was like a black hoodie.
Okay.
And I think he had on either, it was like some long, like, lay around the house type of shorts. Probably were pants that he cut into shorts or something.
Did he look like he was injured in any type of way?
Not to my knowledge. He didn't look injured.
And when you say that you guys smoked, was it usually marijuana, or did it have anything else mixed with
Just
it?
marijuana.
Okay. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and so when you were FaceTiming him, did you FaceTime him on that Saturday and that Sunday? And
no, he FaceTime. I meant to just say he had FaceTime me. I want to say it was Sunday morning was when he told me the story, and I was like not believing it. But then around this time was when yesterday was when my friend Maya was showing me all the stuff, because like I said, I don't get on Facebook unless I see a funny video, unless somebody send me something to watch, then I might scroll. So then she was showing me all this stuff, and I was like, wait, what? And so then in my mind, too much stuff was correlating with, they was like, they left the house at 1:30, and then he told me it happened Friday, like late night. So it was just too much correlating, and I told my friend, I was like, I don't know, what do I do? Like,
so in the messages, and from when you were talking with him, he basically was like, I picked Devin and this girl up, so to have sex.
He said he picked him up, and he picked him up and her up, and I don't know if he was saying he was taking them, for like just giving them a ride to go do it, or if all three of them was gonna do it.
Did he say where he picked up Devin from?
No, he just said he picked them up from, he took them to Eflin. That's all he said.
He took
that
them to Eflin.
That he was taking them to Eflin, or that they was in Eflin or something like that.
Okay. Anything else from that conversation?
Besides the no remorse, the gun, him still saying he gonna keep the gun, that he's going to New York, that his cousin was helping him get a ticket to New York.
Which cousin, do you remember?
I don't know. I've never met his cousins or anything like that, but he was like, his cousin is gonna get him a ticket to New York. And that whenever that Sunday, whenever I was like trying to figure out if this was like real or just like a coincidence, he was like, he's on the way to Raleigh to catch a bus to go back to New York. And I was like just in shock, and I just did not respond.
Do you know who who took him to Raleigh?
I know it wasn't his mom, because I know him and his mom had like a huge fight, and she like took some money from him. I want to say Friday during the day was when he told me that, and then he said he was going to his stepdad's house.
Do you know if he did any other type of drugs?
No, the only thing that I've ever known is like smoke weed. I mean, I think he's like maybe drunk too.
And did he mention anything about going to any ball games or a party or anything like that the night before?
He always told me that he like just chilled at the house, or like he just went to like friends' house, or I gave him a ride to maybe a couple places. Sometimes whenever he needed a ride, he would give me gas money and just that type of stuff.
And you said that like sometimes he like sits in the car. I know you said that he sits in your car, but did he explain anything that might have happened to his mom's car or anything like that?
He said that it looked like somebody hit the car, but then again, and that was, I want to say, I know that was probably before Friday, whenever that happened, because they had gotten this big fight, and he had went to his stepdad's house, but then he went back to his mom's house, I want to say Saturday. And then he left from his mom's house Saturday and went to his, after I left, he, you know, like whenever you leave him, like, what you about to do, he said he's about to go to his stepdad's house, and then I left and went to my grandma's.
Is there another car that he would have driven?
I never knew him to drive a car. I just know that his mom had picked him up a couple times from my cousin's house, and she drove like a black, like SUV. I want to say it's either like a Chevy Equinox type of build or like a GMC type of like boxy black SUV.
Those are her cars?
Yeah, that's like what it kind of looks like. I don't know exactly what kind of car it is.
Does she have any other cars that you know of?
I just always seen the black SUV.
And you've not known him to drive any other type of vehicle?
I've never known him to drive. Every time he hit me up, he needed a ride somewhere.
Okay. And you've never seen him drive?
No. He told me that he told me that he sat in his mom's car and he didn't take it out the parking lot. That's about the only time he ever mentioned anything about being in a car or behind a wheel, at least down here.
Mm-hmm. So when he said that he picked up Devin and this girl, he didn't tell you what car he was in?
No, I didn't.
Did you find it kind of odd, since you know that he doesn't drive, that he'd be driving to pick them up?
That's why the whole story I didn't think was real. Like, the whole story just seemed off. And then he didn't even know the name of Eflin. Like, it just, that's why I didn't pay it no mind when he told me Saturday. I was just like,
seeing the gun.
Yeah, I was. Okay. Well, he always has a gun. He had a gun before a couple times whenever he got in the car, but I don't like that, and I always make him go put it back in the house because I don't like guns like that. I'm not a gun person.
Okay. So, and who else would he hang out with? I know we talked about that a few minutes ago, but like,
I know him and my cousin stopped hanging out like last year. They fell out.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't really know who he hang out with. Only time that we would hang out, it would just be me and him.
Okay.
So I don't really know if he has friends or don't have friends.
What was your conversations?
Just regular conversations like, what's up, what you doing? And then he would tell me stuff that he got going on, or he went to PA Pennsylvania the other day. Like he went to a party in Pennsylvania, just like regular conversations.
Was he seeing any girls, any other guys that he was interested in?
I mean, I know that he like talked to girls and stuff, but I never really like got that deep into those type of, honestly. I didn't know. I never got that.
I'm asking that. I was just trying to see, like, maybe who he might have been close with.
Yeah. But that part, I wouldn't be able to help you with that now. I'm not going to, but I probably could have found out if I had just mentioned his name to my little brother, being that they both was in the same like class at Eastern or whatever. So I'm pretty sure, and I don't even know if my little brother knows him, But my little brother hung out with him because if Devin and him was cool, Eastern's not that big. I went to Eastern. I know how everybody is like friends with everybody at Eastern. It don't matter like what grades you in. Everybody just knows everybody. So I don't even know if like my little brother knows who he is or because I know my little brother know Devin because I saw my little brother posted on Snapchat where he was like he was just with him Thursday. And then whenever I had talked to my little brother, I want to say, I think it was, what day was it? Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday because he said he was going to hang out with friends, and I guess that's when he went and hung out with Devin and then with his girlfriend and my brother's girlfriend, and he went to hang out with Devin, and then I saw him post that on his Snapchat yesterday, and I was like, wow. So all of this is like real.
I'm going to give you my business card. If something comes up that you can remember, that always happens to me later on. I want you to give me a text or a call. And if he like makes contact with you, do you have like a second phone or someone else's phone that you can take a picture of? I know in a Snapchat.
No, if he
don't
it tells you I'm not.
Yeah, don't screenshot it, but take another picture with another phone.
If he
you understand what I'm
texts
saying?
me, I'm definitely gonna let y'all know because I don't like the fact that he told me all this information. I mean, I guess it's kind of good because I can help y'all.
Yeah.
But still, to me, it's like I don't know. I don't see how you can just do that to somebody. I don't know. That's why I didn't believe it because he never mentioned like that kind of stuff because I don't do that like hot boy stuff. I'm in school. I'm trying to focus and get somewhere in my life. Like I help people for a living. Like I don't understand why he felt comfortable enough to tell me. And then I feel like this is just a lie. But I know who he is. I could point him out if I seen him. Right now he's got blonde hair, and I just know that 22 hours ago, he said he was on the way to Raleigh to get on a bus to go back to New York. That's the last contact that I've had with him.
And it was just always you and him when you guys would smoke?
Yeah, it was just me and him, or it was me, him, and my cousin, but then him and my cousin stopped talking, like, sometime before Christmas or something like that.
What was your cousin's name?
Thomas Blackwell.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Yeah.
So make sure. And what phone number did you have for Issiah?
(908) 440 5523. I haven't texted him. The last time that I had texted him was April the 11th. All the time it's always on Snapchat. If you want his Snapchat name, I'll give you that.
I'll have to get a picture, it's easier with all that.
Though that's an address that he sent me one time, 308 Moore Street, but that's his.
Make sure I got that in there.
Oh, the address?
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
I just feel like it's a lot.
And so Saturday was the last day that you seen him in person.
Yeah, that I actually seen him.
All
And I talked to him Sunday.
right. Through Snap.
Yeah.
And then you saw him on FaceTime
Yeah, Sunday.
afterward.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sunday. Well, no, I saw him Saturday, and I saw him. He FaceTime. He video chatted me Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Saturday night or Sunday morning. I can't remember exactly, but I know that he had video. No, it was Sunday morning because it was daylight outside. He was outside, so it was Sunday morning, and then that's when I had
You know
got.
where he was at? When
He was at his stepdad's house because he was telling me that that's where he was because him and his mama had got into it again.
Was he packing up or?
He was just outside.
Oh, he wasn't doing anything in particular?
I didn't. He wasn't like doing nothing like crazy. He was just like sitting outside, talking on the phone like normal, like nothing ever happened. Which is why I was not believing a word that he said. Because usually, I feel like if you do something like that, like it will show.
Yeah.
Like you know, like you just be able to tell, like that you just went through something, like. Because I feel like that's real traumatic.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just like, whatever. Like, but now that I know what I know, it's kind of like sick. A little bit. Like, it kind of makes me like queasy a little bit that like you was just having a full like conversation in my face and you know you just did this for real, and why you feel like that's something like I guess brag or boast about.
Have you been to his stepdad's house before?
Yeah.
For what?
I haven't been like never like picking him up, taking him to work, dropping him off from work.
Oh, okay.
Like,
never to hang out or anything like that.
Nah, not
like
really.
Smoke or anything.
Like whenever we smoke, he would like walk to the top of the street. But he, I know his like stepdad house is right here, and then I drove him down because it's like his aunt or something lives on the house at the end of that road because it's like a road that like it's a dead end. So other than that, it was like only time I went like actually down the road was when I was like dropping him off for work or picking him up for taking him to work or something.
How's his relationship with his stepdad?
It's gotta be good because every time him and his mom get into it, he goes over there, and I know that they separated recently, so she just got an apartment at Deerfield not too long ago, maybe like 4 months.
Is he pretty close with his stepdad?
I would say as close as he could be. He said that he's like drill sergeant-y, but he's saying like he's cool, like, you know.
Does he let him do a lot of stuff? Does he know that he smokes and stuff like that?
I don't think he knows. Well, I'm pretty sure that they know. Like,
yeah, but I mean, I didn't know like how cool he was.
Oh, I don't think he's like that cool.
Yeah, okay.
He probably like will smell it if he walks in the house, but I don't think he like openly would just like let him just smoke or something like that. I don't know. He probably would. I don't know.
You say drill sergeant.
You never know. I mean, yeah, that's I mean, that's kind of the word that I put together.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you think that might be important?
I don't know. I've been thinking like every time I was remembering something, I had called and told the officer, so everything like is on my memory.
Yeah,
I was,
and that's why I gave you my.
Yeah, I was
because I'm the same way. I'll be at home and.
Yeah, like every time I would remember something, I was like, oh yeah, I remember he had the gun in the video, so I was calling back, and I remember that he like showed the clip, but he was like, you see, it's empty, and I was just thought he was trying to like add more fuel to this story because the story just sounded so like. I don't know. You know how when somebody is telling you something and you just be like, you're lying?
Because you're like, oh man, that's so fucking wild, you know?
Yeah, like, it's just like, you're saying all of this, but you're like laughing and smiling. I feel like if you just did something like that, you gotta be a real sick individual to just be laughing and carrying on and smiling and
Did he describe like how he like
no, he just
shot
said
him and where he shot him at?
He said that he like they was wrestling for the gun, and he said that the boy was shooting the gun as like they was wrestling. Like he said it shot like 2 times, and then he got the gun, shot him, and then turned around and shot the girl because she saw everything. And in my head, the reason why I wasn't believing it, because I was thinking like, okay, if I'm in the back seat, right, and 2 people are wrestling for a gun and it's going off, I'm not gonna continue to sit in the back seat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Were they driving? Were they stopped?
Yeah, no,
he
said that they were parked.
Like, did he tell you where they were parked?
No, he just said Eflin.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he probably didn't even know where they were parked.
Okay.
Because he didn't. Well, he said Eflin, something.
Yeah.
And I was like Eflin, but yeah, like, and I was just thinking like the whole story just it wasn't adding up because I was like me personally, and any logical thinking person that I know. But then again, when you're in this situation, you might just be like stuck. But if you have time to be wrestling for a gun and it's going off, and then more time for you to get the gun and then shoot him, why would somebody just continue to sit in the back seat?
Yeah.
And then you telling me this story, and
I don't know.
It's just, no, I would be gone.
Yeah.
If as soon as like, no.
Well, did he mention, like, what did he do afterwards?
He just said he dumped the bodies and left. I don't know if that meant he drove, walked, ran. He just said, I had to dump the bodies and nobody's gonna find them. So I was like, okay, nobody's gonna find them, so it's never gonna come to light. So you're just telling me like a lie.
And where did he go afterwards?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess
like,
he went
did
home.
Go to his friend's house? Or
No, I'm pretty sure he probably went home.
Mm-hmm. He didn't tell you what he did once he got home?
I didn't ask. Mm-hmm. Somebody's lying. I feel like somebody's lying. I feel like now I wish I would have asked more questions, because now I feel like I would have had a lot more information, because now if I was to like try to ask some questions, it would be off.
So when you like confronted him about, hey man, they found
No, I texted him straight up. I said, yesterday at like 5 o'clock, I texted him. I said,
because he had told you, hey, they're not going to find them, and then you find out they found them.
I texted him on Snapchat. Well, first I had called him on Snapchat, and he didn't answer because he said he was about to get on the bus, or he was in the car on the way to Raleigh, something like that. So I texted him. I was like, the girl and the boy that you're talking about, are their name Lyric and Devin? No, I was like, is her name Lyric? And he was like, yeah, Lyric and Devin rest up with like the, I'll show you which emoji it was.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but yeah, I'd like to see it, just to make sure.
I'll just text my sister. It was that emoji.
Okay,
That kind of emoji.
I'll just get a picture of it, just for definitely know.
It was 3 of those, and I remember he was like,
There we go.
but yeah, it was like, he was like, rest up, and I was like, are you being for real right now? And then
new text message from 91980544173.
and I was just like, are you for real right now? Like, what the hell? And then either he didn't respond or I didn't respond after that. It was something like that. But yeah, after I saw that, I was like, and Maya saw him say that, and then I was like, so this is like, the story that he told me was like for real. Like, why would he put that on my conscience for me to know? Like, she's 14 and he's 18. Like, they got their whole life ahead of them. So, number one, I felt like it was for no reason. Because I feel like if you pick them up for them to have sex or for y'all to have sex or whatever, and he's playing around putting the beam on you, why would you feel like, so something's not adding up in my eyes. Something's, because I feel like
Something happened.
Something had to happen that he didn't tell me, because he was like, he was pointing the beam at me, and I told him to stop, and then I grabbed the gun, but I was like, why would you feel threatened if you picked them up and y'all are going?
So he didn't, when you like confronted him about it, he was just like,
yeah.
He just said, yeah. He didn't like seem like, oh well, shit, you know, wasn't
that's
worried
what I'm,
about it.
nothing at all. I guess that he feels like,
it's like no big deal. I'm just gonna get out of town.
No big deal, or like maybe, I'm about to get on the bus and go to New York. They're not gonna find me.
2312 Nat Drive off of Oakdale Drive, overdose patient operated.
Or it's like, I'm about to be in New York, so nobody's gonna find me. But at the end of the day, I don't know, this been sitting on me for all day. And tonight I was gonna call that tip line because Maya had gave it to me, because I wanted it to be anonymous, because I'm like super terrified.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, if you know something, you still gotta say something. Because after I saw that boy's mama's live, like, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because then it was like that was happening Sunday, and I had just heard this wild story from this dude that potentially may be true, and she's begging for her son to come home, and she don't know what's going on, and then they find 2 bodies, and you just told me that you shot 2 people and dumped the bodies in Eflin. That's too coincidental.
Are you familiar with this area?
Mebane and Burleson and Graham. I know a little bit of Eflin. Like, I know, like, Buckhorn Road, because I had a friend that lived, like, 1,000 miles down Buckhorn Road. But other than that, I'm not really familiar with Eflin like that. But Mebane and Burleson, I went to Eastern, so I was down here from, like, middle school and high school. So I'm pretty familiar with the area, but I just feel like it's wild.
And where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in Greensboro. I moved up here to be with my dad because some stuff happened with my mama. Okay. So I moved up here I've been here since 7th grade, I think.
Okay.
7th, 8th grade.
All right. Sorry. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
And again, if something else comes up, or if he texts you or whatever, let's
You'll
let me
know.
Okay.
You'll know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Trying to get some rest.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night, but I don't know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Sykes, did you and Isaiah have an argument or a falling out of any kind?
I don't think so.
I don't have any further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Yes. Mr. Trapp, the witness is with you.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Sykes.
Hi.
So you had an opportunity to answer some questions with Ms. Orr, and then you had an opportunity to listen to that recording from 2022.
Yes.
So do you do remember meeting with law enforcement sometime in September 2022?
Yes.
But you didn't know, at least at that time, that was recorded. Is that right?
No.
And you found out that it was recorded recently?
Yes.
Today, last?
Maybe like a couple days after I got the subpoena.
Okay. So sometime in 2025, 2026?
No, I got the subpoena like within like the last like 2 months. So yeah, into 2025.
And have you yourself ever watched or listened to that video?
No.
Now, some of the questions you were asked today and that you testified to were a little different from the video. Did you see any different? You recognize anything that you heard that might have been a little different?
Yeah, but it was also like 4 years ago. So.
And so maybe some of the things you forgot.
Yeah.
Now, there were some questions that the officer asked after you kind of gave your initial statement that delved into a little bit more detail. But I'm going to ask you some questions about what you heard and what you talked about so far today. Is that all right?
Okay.
So you mentioned that on Saturday, and Saturday would have been the 17th of September, that you met with Mr. Ross at Deerfield, and you guys sat in the car together and smoked. You remember hearing that, or do you remember that happening?
Yeah.
So that did happen.
I think so. If I said it in the video, then it probably did. But then again, it was almost 4 years ago, so I don't really remember.
And you mentioned that it would have had to been after you got off work, which would have been about 4:15.
Yeah.
Okay. And were you going to say anything else?
Mm-mm.
And so that Saturday, you met with Mr. Ross at Deerfield Apartments. Based on what you heard, maybe not necessarily, you don't remember it vividly, but it would have had to been after work that day on Saturday.
Yeah, because I work 4 to 4.
Okay. And you all sat in your car for a short amount of time, I think is what you said. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. And at that time, he had not told you anything about the morning before or night before. Is that right?
No.
So then later on, you all spoke again, but that time this next time was by FaceTime. Is that right? Or
Snapchat video, yeah.
Snapchat video. And that would have also been on Saturday.
No, I think that was Sunday. Could have been Saturday. Again, that was a long time ago.
Okay. All right. And when you talked on Snapchat video, that is when you learned some of this information. Is that right?
Correct.
And you mentioned that you didn't ask a lot of questions. You were just listening, right?
Yeah.
Now, is there a possibility as you're listening to this or watching this, I guess you're looking at the phone, that there are some things that you may have either misheard or just not got clarification about?
I don't know.
One of the things that was mentioned in the recording was that the shooting took place in the car. Was that something that you were told?
Yes.
Okay. Another thing that you testified to was that you saw the firearm and that it was black. Do you recall that?
I saw a firearm that was black on video. I don't know if it was that one because I was not there.
Okay. Thank you. So you saw a firearm and it was black.
Yes.
Okay. When you were talking or listening at this point, did you at any time actually ask any questions about what you were told?
No.
Okay, so you just listened.
Kinda. I kinda was like, maybe I might have asked a question or two, but again, I didn't believe it. So.
In this conversation, do you recall how long it was? This one that was on the Snapchat video?
No.
And when you were hearing this, you then said afterwards, I guess you showed some text messages or some messages to one of your friends.
Yeah. Well, Snapchat messages, yeah.
And these Snapchat messages, they were sent before or after you had this video call?
I don't remember. I remember showing her something after we talked about that, but it had to be after because I didn't know nothing until after that video call. And I learned about them when I was with her.
And when you went to Mr. Ross's house that Saturday before you had this video call, you said that the vehicle that his mom had was black. Do you recall hearing that?
Yeah.
Okay, and you remember kind of seeing her car there and...
Not there. I just remember seeing her pick him up and her car was black. Most people don't. They have one car, so...
Did he mention to you when you picked him up that his mom's car had gotten into an accident or got messed up?
I don't remember.
In the video, you had discussed a special relationship you had with Mr. Ross. And at first you were a little hesitant, but then you said, yes, you did. Do you recall that?
I don't remember saying special because it wasn't special, but sure.
Intimate relationship.
I wouldn't say it was that either, but okay. If that's what you want to go with.
Well, how would you describe it?
We was cool.
Okay. You mentioned that you smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no, please?
Yeah.
But you mentioned that there are other things you did in addition to smoking. In particular, the officer said that for you to get information like that, that you must have a closer relationship than just associates. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And so did you have a relationship that was more than just hanging out and smoking with Mr. Ross?
I think that's what the video said.
But I'm asking you today, did you?
Approach.
Mr. Sykes, let me rephrase this question. Is what you said in the recording true about your relationship with Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Thank you. There were a couple times you made reference to where Mr. Ross was going. Was this something he said he told you that he was going to New York, or is that something you just believed?
That's what I was told.
Okay. And did you talk to him when he was on his way to the?
So he was already there.
Okay. You made a mention that you would typically talk with him on Snapchat. Right? And the last text message, at least according to the recording that we listened to from back in 2022, I think this last text message was back in April. So you didn't talk much by text, is my question.
No, I don't think so. No.
There are also mentions that you would pick him up from work.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. And that you remember taking him to his stepdad's house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you visit his stepdad's house around the time of this event when you all were talking?
I don't think so.
Okay. You also mentioned that his aunt's house was right down the street. Did you ever take him there?
No.
Did he remark or tell you that's my aunt's house? How would you know it was right down the street?
Because I think somebody was coming down the driveway one day,
Okay.
and he had me back up. So, yeah.
Okay. When you were talking to the officer in the video or the interview, you mentioned that there were rest up emojis that were sent, but you weren't able to actually show them to her because they were no longer available. Is that right?
Yeah.
Were any of the text messages that you had showed some of your friends or that you had received, were any of those still available when you talked to the officer that day?
No.
Okay. And did you screenshot them?
No.
But you received them close enough in time where you could show it to your friends the day before?
No, she was with me.
So she watched them in real time come in?
Well, I texted him what I said in the video, and he responded and said it. I showed it to her.
Okay.
She was beside me.
Okay. And you brought to your attention what was going on Facebook and what had happened in Eflin?
Yeah, she brought it up, and then that's when I asked him. And then that's when he said that, and that's when I showed her that.
And then after you had this conversation, you were the one who called law enforcement and told them?
No. I'm sure her mother called law enforcement and had them call me.
Okay. And so when you had made a reference that law enforcement had called you 10 times, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, I was at work, and when I went on break, I saw that they called me 10 times.
And you had initially said that you thought this interview or time was anonymous. Is that right?
I thought all of it was.
Okay. And that people wouldn't know that you provided this information?
Yeah.
When you heard this story, I think the first thing you said was that shining a beam means that maybe this firearm had a laser on it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, you never actually saw with the laser. Is that right?
I don't know. It was on a video. I saw a black gun.
Okay. Did Mr. Ross say that this was used in the event when he talked to you?
You know, I think he kind of alluded to it to me when he held the gun up.
Okay.
That's what I got from it.
And was the idea that this event took place in a car, was that actually said, or was that also alluded to?
Well, if he said he shot somebody and then turns around and shoots somebody, you can't turn around unless you're in a car, right? That's just what I'm assuming.
And you had said, at least on the video, I wish I had asked more questions because maybe some of these things wouldn't seem so off. Do you recall hearing that?
Yes, sorry.
And there are some other things that you had brought up in this interview. You said that whenever Mr. Ross got into a fight with his mom, he would go stay with his stepdad.
Yes.
And so he would normally tell you these things?
No, it's just, when you go with somebody and they get into it with and then they go, it's kind of like an observation.
One moment, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sykes, you mentioned that you weren't sure if that Mr. Ross went to Eastern Alamance. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
At the time.
Mm-hmm.
That your younger brother also went to Eastern Alamance. They might even been in the same grade. Is that right?
Yeah.
But you weren't even sure if your brother knew Mr. Ross.
Correct.
And so your brother was not aware of your relationship, to your understanding.
Correct.
And it caught your attention when you saw your brother post something about what happened to Devin.
Yeah.
And that it also caught your attention or touched you when you saw some of the things that were posted on Facebook by some of the parents related to this. Is that right?
Correct.
And so did those instances, the posting of the parents as well as what your brother posted, did that motivate you to want to come forward and say something?
It did, but I didn't. That wasn't the reason why I did. Did in my head, but that's not the reason that I did.
When you had these conversations or listened to or saw what you saw on this Snapchat video, did you write any of these things down?
No.
Your conversations with Mr. Ross prior to this, other than saying, hey, do you need a ride from work or you want to go hang out and smoke, were there other occasions that you two would hang out with each other?
I don't really remember.
Okay. There was a statement that I wanted to just make sure I wrote down that you had mentioned twice. You stated that Mr. Ross told you, I capped them. And I don't know if it was them or M. Are you sure that's what he told you that day?
Whatever I said on the video is what happened. I don't remember at this moment what was said, but if that's what the video said, that's what happened.
Okay. And so if the video said that the shots were in the car, that's what was said.
That's what I was told.
And that there was a struggle and that there were 2 shots by a person's leg.
No, I think that might have been what he told me, but again, he wasn't always the most truthful person. So I don't know what was true and what wasn't.
Nothing further, Judge.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Just stay here, Mr. Sykes. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I haven't been here a whole lot of time, but you have to take a break this afternoon, so we're going to go ahead and take that break right now. I would ask that all of you, I know you haven't forgotten, but please remember all the rules that apply. Have everybody else please remain seated, and we're going to excuse our jury at this time. All right, we'll show that our jury is outside of the courtroom. So we had 2 bench conferences. The most recent one, there was a series of questions about the relationship between Mr. Sykes and the defendant. I'd asked the attorneys to approach, since we'd gone over that a couple times, the relevance of that. I asked Mr. Trapp if he was going for this being some sort of character evidence, whether this was like to prejudice, bias, or truthfulness. I think Mr. Trapp had indicated that the line of questioning had to do with inconsistencies between testimony today versus statements that were made to the officer at that time. And I think at that point, Mr. Trapp, you said you were going to change your question, and I think you did. Is there anything else you need to put on the record, anything else you want to ask while we're still here?
Anything I want to ask in general, that was a good reiteration of what our bench conference was. And in no way was I trying to address character. I was just talking about the dichotomy between what was said today versus back in 2022.
Yeah, it's excellent trial strategy. Anything else that we need to add for the record to any of that?
No, ma'am.
Well, I still have Mr. Sykes here. Anything you want to put on the record?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. All right. Is there anything else that we need to address on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor, and may Mr. Sykes be released from his subpoena.
The objection for defense?
Your Honor, I typically don't ask for people to remain on, but in the event that there is some information that I think might come up, I would ask for him not to be released.
All right. So, Mr. Sykes, you are done with your testimony here today. I'm not releasing you from your subpoena obligations at this time. We still have some other testimony that has to come. Only if at some point your testimony becomes relevant again to some of the questions would you be called back. All right.
Okay.
As for today, you'll be released please remain in contact with, I guess at this point, the DA's office, in case there's anything comes up, all right? All right, thank you. All right, anything else on behalf of the defense?
Nothing on behalf of the defense, thank you.
All right, we'll be in recess for 15 minutes then.